My name is Mams and I make weird music. Today, we are going to try out the 57 custom champ amplifier on Amplitube. Let's go to the other input and push it up. Let's try and check it at a low volume. That's my analysis of it. This is part of a new series where I am checking out different amps on IK Multimedia's amp simulation software. I've already done the Champion 600 and the 57 champ. Links to them will be down in the description below. In the last episode, I mentioned that the champ got a reissue in 2006 up to 2013. In fact, you can still buy the amp today even from Fender's own website. But wait. First, make sure you're firmly seated before you hear my next statement. It is $1,300. Luckily for us, Amplitube costs way less and has this amp in it. So that's what we are going to be trying out today. One thing I did not notice during the last video was that the champ, even the original 1957 version, actually has two inputs. But the software emulation which we tried in the last video did not have that. This one does. I couldn't find many famous users of this amp since it is pretty new, but many guitar YouTubers like In The Blues, John Nathan Cordy, Mike Cole, and Jack Fawcett use it and love it. In fact, Jack has done several videos for the champ and was, for me, a great resource for my research. Let me read what the description on Amplitube's website says about this amp. A 57 custom champ. Officially certified 57 custom champ R model. 5 watt, single 8-inch all tube, probably the most recorded amp of all time. The 57 custom champ provides an amazingly diverse tone palette for a small one-knob amp. It's the perfect companion for those who love dynamic, overdriven tones and crisp, classic cleans. This amp is part of the Fender 2-pack, whereas the previous original champ was from the Fender 1-pack. So, just like the original champ, this is also a 5-watt amp with an 8-inch speaker. There is also some misinformation floating around that Fender/Amplitube tried to model the champ in the Fender 1-pack, but they didn't quite get it right, so they remodeled it in the Fender 2-pack. That is not true. And these are, in fact, two separate amps being modeled here. So, as usual, we will try it out with the Strat and the Les Paul, but this time I will try to remember to check both the inputs. After that, we will not do it with the pedals, but instead, I will try to compare it with the original champ. And for today's special attraction, we will try it with a mystery instrument. Time for the fancy transition. So, you can see here on Amplitube, inside the Fender collection, there is Fender 1 and Fender 2. The previous one we saw for the last video was the Fender 57 champ. So inside the Fender 2-pack, we have the Fender 57 custom champ. As you can see, it has one knob just like the champ, but it has two inputs. As usual, I've mapped it to this keyboard, and this time I've mapped two knobs. First for the volume, and then I've also mapped the switching between the input 1 and 2 to the second knob. So this switch here is what actually does the switching, but I've mapped the switch to the knob. So as usual, if you've seen my videos already, you will already know this is the P-Way Strat, and I will be on the neck pickup, volume and tone full, and I'm going through a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 first gen interface. The gain on the interface is at 12 o'clock, and there's nothing else. Direct straight to Ableton, which is running Amplitube. Right now, I believe it's set volume 2.5. So this is how it sounds, 2.5 on input 1. Let's see how different it is from the input 2. I believe Jack Fawcett had said one of them is the high input and one of them is the low input. Here it doesn't say which one is high and low, but I think 2 is the low input. because it sounds way cleaner. Yeah, definitely 1 is definitely the higher input. I also want to do without amp and a with amp. So we're at, this is DI cleaned without Amplitube turned on. It is much louder because right now we're at volume 2 obviously. Now it's back on, and let's just push the volume so that it's a fair comparison. So you can hear that it's definitely got that tweed sound. It's slightly breaking up. We will go input by input. Like the previous champ, we did a pretty detailed view. So here we will not go too much details. So let's go to the lower input first, and 2 to 3. This sounds very dark, I think, compared to the champ. That's just my initial thought without any ABing. So we will do the AB later, but just on first impressions, I feel like it's much more darker than the original champ. Okay, let's go a little higher. Let's go up to 5 or 6. This is where the amp really opens up. Try with the bridge pickup. This is position number mid-end bridge. Let's gain it a bit more. Let's go to 8. Now we're at position number, what I like to call position number 2. Okay, back to neck. So, like, my individual pickups have a lot more output than the in-between combinations. And Dr. Whom, our editor, I think he figured out there was some phase issues. And he told me it's a simple fix. You could just do it yourself. But I don't want to take the risk because I don't want to destroy the mojo that this neck pickup has and even the bridge pickup has. take it even more, up to 10. We're on the low input, and I guess at 8 it's already. Oh, we forgot the jack faucet thingy. So he said, go to 6, go at volume 6, and then he said something. Maybe turn down the volume on the guitar. I don't know if I like that sound. Maybe it's got a lot to do with the specific guitar that I'm using, and obviously this is an amp simp. It's not gonna be the same. For him, it sounded a lot better. It sounded much more brighter. Let's keep going. This is max volume at the low input. I was just playing Foxy Lady. The battery on this camera died, so maybe it was a sign from the YouTube gods not to get carried away. And we're gonna try the other input, what we think is the high input, the input number 1. Let's try it at volume 2. So what I want to see is how much difference. So this is supposed to. Okay, let's take whole numbers. 3, 3, and then let's see what is the. So let's go to the other input, maybe 6. Yeah, 6. So there's about 3 numbers of difference between input 1 and input 2. Okay, so this is at 6, volume 6 on the second input. And I believe this should be maybe 9 on the other input. So yeah, there's about 3. Okay, let's go to the other input and go to 9 now. So this should be 12 on the other input. Finally, 12 on the high input. So this is not possible on the second input. So now we're gonna switch to the Les Paul. Just for your entertainment purposes, this is how the cable sounds to a Fender champ. We're gonna do the bridge pickup. Again, let's go volume low and the low input. I forgot that this is in a open G right now. let's push up to 6. Let's push it up even further to 10. With the tone down. And then now at full volume at the second input. Wow, it's very bitey. Let's go to the other input and we'll check it at 3. Push it up to 7. Push it up to 9, 10. And finally up to 12. So that's pretty much it with the Les Paul. The next idea is to compare it with the original Champ. I'll go back to the Strat for that. And then this is at volume 3 point something. I'm gonna try to keep it at a similar level and go back to the custom Champ. Is it more similar to the other input? Let's go to the input 2. This. Okay, to keep it more simple, let's keep it at 12 o'clock because that's going to be easier to monitor. And then go to the other one. Now it's definitely not equal. Okay, this is channel 1. Then again Fender 1. So just look at the screen. The Fender one is a lot more powerful. I do remember like it used to break up at 2 or 3. Whereas the custom Champ, it does not break up. It's 5 at 6, it's almost at the edge of breakup. And obviously if we go to the next channel, not gonna break up. It's pretty clean even at this volume. I think that is basically it. Let's try and check it at a low volume. Okay, I'm gonna do this with the mouse so that it's more accurate. 3.0. And compare it with the champ at 3. Here, the champ is less volume. So I guess you could say the champ has more of a range. It's much more lower gain and then much more higher gain. Let's see how it compares with the other channel. So even on channel 2, the original champ had less gain at volume 3. Less gain, less volume, whatever we call it. Like they are just two different amps. Like they look the same, and one is inspired from the other, of course. But like the champ has a completely different range. This is definitely much more versatile, especially with the two inputs, and I think it's much better for cleaner sounds because like it doesn't gain even at volume 5. So that's my analysis of it. Now we're going for the special instrument. Yes, it's your favorite instrument, the recorder. This one is a new one actually. This is an alto recorder. I've hardly had any time to play it, so I thought I'll bust it out today. So one thing about recorder that I was pretty surprised, which Dr. Whom told me, over there in the West, in US, or I don't know if it's in Europe as well, the recorder has a pretty bad reputation. I did not know that. What Doc told me is like, this instrument is taught to kids in elementary school and then they are forced to learn this instrument, and hence it has a very bad reputation. I did not know that because obviously we do not learn it. It's not a common instrument here in India. Like we barely see the recorders being played. To me, this is like a very accessible and cheap, inexpensive instrument, especially the soprano recorder. It's almost like a gateway to wind instruments. So we're gonna try the recorder. I'm struggling more about playing this rather than being able to check out the amp properly. Let's just go high gain. High gain. I know I said that we will not use pedals, but I'm changing my mind. We will try some pedals here. What I wanted was actually a vibrato. We have to go to the vibrato mode. That's not me doing the vibrato.
Okay, so this is my speaking voice through the amplifier, but I'm gonna turn the gain down. Check, check. So you can also hear how it sounds with vocals. Vocals, distorted vocals on the high input. This is how it sounds. But let's go back to normal and go back to second input so I can give my brief impressions on this. It's a very resonant amp. Now that I'm singing through it, I can hear that it's resonating. Oh, it's also the vibrato. Okay, so now it's vocals, but you can see it resonates quite a lot. What would I say? I don't really know what to say as a what are my thoughts. I mean, it's a good amp. It's Fender, obviously. It's gonna be good. Definitely, that original champ has much more vibe. It has much more mojo than this. I guess like that whole mystique of, okay, you've only got one knob, and this one, it's already too much. You've got two inputs and one knob. You could see that it doesn't have much range as compared to the champ. Champ went from very low gain that you could barely hear it right up to like extreme high gain. Whereas this, even on the high gain in input, like it wasn't going as high gainy as the original champ. On a pinch, I would rather pick the original champ than this. Why would I ever need this? I don't even know. Why did Fender even, I mean, Amplitube even have this included? I have no idea why. So let's go to the conclusion part of the video. Fancy transition again. Welcome back. Did you like the champ? Did you like the champ? Did you like the champ? Because if you did, then you should subscribe. I don't want to keep the outro too long, but I just want to say, listen to my album Small Town Boy on all major streaming platforms. And you can support me on Bandcamp and Gumroad, where I have a Sitar sample pack. There's also a lot more music on my Bandcamp. Stay untuned! Okay, bye!